Hey everybody, hope you're good. My name is Abby if you're new around here, and in today's video I will be reviewing The Ordinary's new concealers. So, I think I found out about this about maybe 3 days ago or so. Got an email from Destium because I am subscribed to them, and I remember they had a new concealer. Winding back about, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was on their site. And they had, some hints about, new concealers dropping. They do that, and they have been doing that with, some with new products that they've had, where they'll talk about the product or they'll mention the product and say it's coming soon. So I knew there was a concealer coming soon at some point. I just didn't know when, and I thought it would be later on in the year, but here we are. So in today's video, I will be reviewing these concealers. So I did order 2 different shades, and I went by the promo shot, at least the shots that Destium had on their website, and I was so excited because the colors that I chose I thought would be the perfect shade for me, and they were also similar to the original concealer, the original foundation that The Ordinary already have. So I went and repurchased the Ordinary Coverage Foundation. I thought it would be very fitting to have this on today. So this is what it looks like. And I have it in the shade 3.1Y. I did do a video ages ago when they launched, and I will link that either in the cards or in the description box. And I've already got a review on this particular foundation, but I haven't worn it in a while, and I threw out the old one that I had, and then I thought, okay, let me just get another one because they had a sale. Not Desium, one of these other websites I shop on had a sale, and I thought I'd purchase another one just to at least prep myself for the concealer, because for the concealer review, because I knew there was a concealer video coming up, and I always like to prep, to put together products on the same line, just to at least have a bit of cohesiveness to the video. So the 2 concealer shades I have are 2.1Y and 3.0Y. I made one small mistake with this concealer in that I didn't even think to check for videos, because I just assumed that people only found out about it, and I totally forgot. I had a brain blank, totally did not consider that there might be some influencers who had already received it and already had a video up. So I just saw the video, so I saw the email, quickly went onto the site, purchased it thinking, okay, it's going to come in 2 days, I'm going to review it. Went by the color chart, didn't think to see if there were any videos out there already. And I say that because the color that you receive is very different from the color that you see online. So that is a huge thing. So if you take nothing away from this video, take that. So this is the packaging. It's very in keeping. It's in keeping with, the original, but the concealer itself is in a black tube. It's a squeezy tube concealer. You do get 8 ml of product, which is a decent amount. It looks tiny. I think there's this, so it's probably similar to like the MAC. That's the only thing I can think of that has this similar packaging from like ages ago. The MAC concealer tubes. I can't remember what they're called, but I used to use those back in the day. And yeah, you get 8 ml of product, which is a lot, and for something that's supposed to be high coverage, that's also really promising. So first thing, the price of this concealer, the price of it is £4.90 on the Desium site, and there are, how many shades did they say? So there are 36 shades in this concealer, which is amazing. Looking at the shade, in fact, I'll have the screenshot of the shade range just so you can see, because you can't see my phone. Looking at the shade range, it looks like there's a good mixture, a good mixture of dark colors, mid, light, everything in between. So the closest color to my skin tone is 3.1Y. So when I saw the swatches, I thought, let me go for 3.0Y because it'll be a shade lighter. Turns out, because I've already opened this tube just to see what the color is, and then when I saw the color I was like, wait, what, did I order the wrong thing? Then I went onto YouTube and saw that there'd been like 3 or 4 other videos, and one of them was on a girl who had dark skin, which is really what I tend to check for, and she mentioned the same thing. She actually ordered the same color, and when I saw it I was like, oh crap, I can't use this, but I'm going to use it in this video anyway. So because of that, in fact, let's wind back a bit. So let's read the claims. So like I said, the price of this is £4.90. You get 8 ml of product, and it's actually officially called the High-Spreadability Pigment Suspension System with a very high coverage. Desium, you know how they do. If you don't know, that's how they do. They have very complicated names for things and very complicated descriptions for things, which doesn't necessarily make it easier to digest for the ordinary person. So the description says it's a high spreadability suspension system that offers very high coverage with a real skin finish, packaged with a thin nozzle applicator for precise and easy application. This formula allows high pigments to look natural on the skin and resist collecting in fine lines. Available across a 36 shade range. The shades are divided into 4 categories: lighter tones, medium tones, which are number 2s, lighter tones are number 1s, 3 for dark to deep tones, and 4 for deeper tones. Each category is then classified further by a second digit from 0 to 4 to indicate depth within each category. Finally, a letter is added to the shade code to identify the undertone. So P pink, so P is pink, R is red, indicate cool undertones. That is confusing. R is actually for cool. That's confusing. N indicates the neutral tone, while yellow indicates the warm undertone. That's confusing. A full shade range is available, yada yada. So it says apply to imperfections, blemishes, or the under eye area, blending using your fingertips or a brush. So I will do my fingertips and a brush, and I'll see if I can squeeze in using a sponge as well, because I want to see if, you know, if it applies well with the sponge. I do know there's a lot of people out there who apply the concealer with a sponge. I do that on and off if I have a sponge handy, but I'm generally too lazy. I tend to use my brush because my brushes are just easy to grab and they don't need to be wet. So I'm just going to swatch the 3.0 wires just so you can see. This is how light it is, and I'll have a shot of what it looks like online just so you can see. So this is not a color I would ever use unless I wanted to just have like a dot just to like bounce light off this indent, this trough I believe it's called, in my under eye area. But this is the shade. So it does feel like, I hope it darkens. I mean, if it oxidizes, that's probably a good thing. But I just I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to apply it to the naked skin. Normally I would apply my concealer after foundation, but I do think it's probably more useful, especially for the times we're in right now where I don't think a lot of people are wearing a lot of foundation. And for those people who don't wear foundation and like to apply concealer on their naked skin, it's good for them to see how it would apply. So let's do this. I have high hopes for this because it is supposed to be a high coverage, and high coverage is always good because you can always share it down, or at least medium to high coverage. When you're talking low coverage, it just becomes too much work for people who have like dark under eyes. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit. Okay, so this side I'm going to, it is spreading and it's applying really quickly, really easily rather. Trying to do this trick I've been seeing. I know, what's his name? Robert Welsh, James Welsh's twin. He does this and he recommends this in terms of concealer application because of the way it bounces light and shapes the eye. But as you can see, it looks very ashy. So I'm going to take my foundation brush, my buffing brush. You can definitely see, I wouldn't call it full coverage. And one positive with this being so light for my skin is the fact that I'm applying it on my naked skin. At least I'm just going to use my Black Beauty blender. At least it means I can put my foundation over it. I definitely think it has a skin-like finish to it because it blends in really easily. I feel like applying it with my hand kind of spread it further than it needed to be spread as well. So if you want to have more control, maybe start with your hand and don't spread it, just tap it and then finish it off with either a brush or your sponge. But your sponge will eat up some product as well. So it's given me more light to medium. But thankfully I don't have heavy under eye circles. If you do have heavy under eye, like really dark under eye circles, you probably need to color correct first before using it, which is kind of counterproductive because this is supposed to be a high coverage concealer and this is the darkest shade that I have. I did put an order in for shade 3.1Y, which I'm hoping will be a decent highlight shade still, and 4.1N because I believe 3.2Y actually looked cool on the website. It didn't look like it had a hint, one bit of yellow undertone to it. So I didn't want to order that, but maybe as soon as more videos come out, we'll see what 3.2Y looks like. But I didn't want to order that because it didn't look like it had any yellow in it. It looks really neutral and too dark as well. So I ordered 3.1Y and I'm hoping that will look decent. If anything, even if it's as dark as the actual original foundation, I'll take that. So let me zoom in. And this is filming in natural lighting, by the way. I did start my day a bit late. So what time is it now? It's now 3:03 in England and we are in the middle of winter, so I'm about to lose some light. You can see it's not settling into my creases, which is good. I feel like it is here actually, but you can just easily tap that out. So I'm going to take a pump of the foundation. In fact, let me swatch the foundation so you can see. So the foundation in 3.1Y looks like this. It's still a bit on the light side, but it's the closest to my skin tone. So that's what I'm hoping the concealer looks like. So I've just taken one pump. And like I said, it's 3:03 now, probably 3:04 by the time I'm talking. So what I'm going to do is do a quick wear test. And this high coverage foundation is a really good foundation. Actually, I want to say I don't know why I stopped wearing it, but I know exactly why I stopped wearing it, and that's because other foundations came out and it kind of got pushed to the back of the collection. But now that I have a new foundation, not a new shade, I bought the same shade again, but now that I do have it in the forefront of my mind, I will use it more often. I'm not taking it all the way to my hairline because I will have to apply some contour there. But that little dot spread pretty nicely. Another thing I noticed with the concealer is that it's like a quick setting concealer. You don't want to leave it hanging around too long. I'm just gonna conceal with my Revolution Infinite Concealer in the shade 13.2. So I'm just gonna quickly finish off the rest of my face. First thoughts on the concealer, definitely the shade is wrong, the shades are all over the show. So be careful when you're ordering, maybe go a shade down and see what that comes out like. And the best part of it is that it's only £5, so you don't lose a lot. Even if you don't get the right shade, you can always order another one. What I've done is actually order another one. So I ended up ordering another shade in 3.1Y, and I'm hoping, and 4.1N as well, just to dilute that, just in case that too is not dark enough. Yeah, so we'll see how that comes out. I'll have to do a part 2 to this video. But let me finish up the rest of my face, and then I'll come back and tell you what I've used so you won't miss much. And I'll give you some final thoughts or semi-final thoughts, and then I'll come back later on at night and show you how the concealer has worn. I'm going to set my face. I'll tell you everything I've done with my face once I go off camera, just to quickly speed this up. I'll be right back. Hey everybody, so I'm back. I had to change my location just because it was getting dark in the bathroom and the way the window's faced. That I tend to lose a lot of light very quickly in that area. So I'm in another room. I'm in my bedroom. So in terms of the finish for the concealer, let me just see if I can zoom in a little bit just so you can see. Just raise the light a little. So I did manage to set it okay, as in I didn't have any issues setting it, and it looks pretty matte. Doesn't seem to be settling into my fine lines, but then again, the powder I used could also have something to do with that as well. So let me zoom back out. Okay, so in terms of the products I used, so after I finished with the foundation, what did I do first? So I set my face with the Coty S-Bon loose powder. So that's that. I used it to lightly set everywhere, including my under eyes. And then I went over, because on my under eye area, I guess with the concealer being light, I didn't really think about using a white-ish kind of powder. It's meant to be translucent, but it has a slight bit of cast. So then it made that area look a little bit too pale. So I used my Maybelline loose finishing powder in medium deep, and it looks like this. So I added a little bit more color to my under eye area, again very lightly. And for my face powder, I used my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop powder foundation in the shade Cappuccino. It is a very cool look, very cool. I can't say that it is very cool looking, but if you apply it with a very light hand, it tends to blend into your skin like it does for me. So that's what I used for my face. And then I finished off, and then actually after that, I used my Cami Paradise Glow X Revolution face palette. So the shades I used in here were the blush, the bronzer, and the contour. So again, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. The blush is very pigmented, so going with the light hand, I feel like I might have put a little bit too much, but I only had like 1 or 2 dabs in here, and I dusted it off the back of my hand before applying it, but it's stuck. So again, if you want that kind of glow to your skin, your dark skin, medium skin, this is a really good shade. I love shades like this, like terracotta orangey type of shades. I tend to go with this as well. I tend to go with shades like this. I really like them on my skin tone. So in terms of bronzer, a light layer of bronzer around the perimeter, and then in terms of contour, I use this just to define my cheekbones very lightly again, because I'm not going anywhere. There's no use in heavy makeup application, looking like a crazy person out there in the streets. So lastly, I finished off everything with my NYX Finishing Powder in the shade Golden. I'm not even sure if they still sell this, but I've had this for a while and I continue to use it because it is a powder product. So this is what it looks like. It's got a bit of a, feels like it has a bit of a sheen to it, like a funny texture. It is like a baked type of powder. So I use this as a finishing powder, and then to add a bit more life to my face. Oh, lastly, I use my Sleek highlighting palette. This is the Copper Plate, and these 2 bottom shades are the ones I used mixed together just to add a bit of highlight to my cheeks. Again, not too much because we ain't going nowhere. And then lastly, I used, what did I use? The setting spray. So I used a pretty basic setting spray that I really like because it's not like too heavy on the alcohol. In fact, it kind of gives new life to your skin without making it dry. You know, I don't necessarily want a mattifying setting spray all the time. So this is a really affordable one. It's from Makeup Academy. You can get it on Beauty Bay if you can't get to Superdrug. They still sell it at Superdrug, and I discovered the brand at Superdrugs, but they do sell on Beauty Bay now. So this is a pro-based mattifying fixing spray. It is supposed to be a mattifying fixing spray, but it's not dry and it has good ingredients in it. So the first few ingredients are actually hydrating ingredients like propylene glycol, aloe barbadensis leaf extract, which is aloe leaf extract. Yeah, it doesn't, I can't even see any alcohols in here, to be very honest with you, which is very unusual for setting spray. Most of my setting sprays are from Makeup Revolution, and the second ingredient or third ingredient is usually alcohol. So I have yeah, so anyway, so that's it. And then on the eyes, I'm using my I've got my Essence Lash Princess mascara to define my eyes. I only have one coat of this, and then I'm testing out another mascara on my other eye. So yeah, but this at least is what I have on this eye. Then I have the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss in the shade Oh My Plump, and a No Brainer, which is more of a muted mauvey type of brown nudie color. So I think that's it. On my brows, I have set my brows with my lip coat. Did a video on this, and the eyebrow pencil I use is the Revolution Dual Brow Pencil with a thick triangular nib to it. So yeah, so that's everything. In terms of my initial thoughts, I like the concealer. The shades are all over the place, and they do need to rework the pictures that they're publishing, because there are going to be a lot of annoyed customers out there, especially on the darker spectrum, who expected to find one shade and got another. That's probably the main thing. The application was very nice. It applied really well. It's a quick drying concealer, so it's not one that you want to leave hanging around on your face while you blend and blend on another side. So yeah, you definitely want to apply and blend as you go. And what else is there? It didn't seem to settle into my smile lines, my under eyes as much, and I do have natural creases. So let me see if I can. I can't see any creasing. So yeah, we'll see if it breaks up, but initially, I mean, they all tend to after a while, like after a whole day. So we'll see how that wears. I started the application around 3, so we'll see how long I can keep this for. I'll see if I can keep it until like 10 or so, so we'll get like a good 7 hours wear. But until then, I will catch you, yeah, that's how I'll catch you later. So this is my finished face. Okay, ready, so I'm back, and where's my phone? The time is 10:25. Not even sure if you can see this, but I always forget to show that. So yeah, 10:25, and I started this face just before 3, I believe. So over 7 hours in terms of testing the ordinary concealers. So the first thing that I did notice a couple of hours in was that it was actually settling into the lines in my under eyes. The lines now are kind of not cracked, but I guess cracked where the concealer's gathered in my lines. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see. So you can see there's this tiny crease in there where the concealer is collected, and in here as well. I mean, that was bound to happen at some point, so it's not a big deal for me, but I don't know, it's I guess it's something that, if it's something that bothers you, if you do have pronounced lines, it's probably going to happen, and it's probably been happening anyway. Another thing is that I mean, I was going to say that I think I might have lost some coverage, because I feel like I can see some darkness in this side, but then I remembered that my eye was itchy and I rubbed my eyes, and sometimes I forget, like, there's a certain way to rub your eyes when you're wearing mascara, so like it doesn't flake off or rub off or like smudge or whatever. So I think, I don't know, I feel like there's like a slight darkness in this section, but I feel like that's probably caused by me. So that could have contributed to maybe a little bit of loss in concealer as well. But I didn't apply a lot. I didn't apply too much in the first place, so there was only a thin layer. Then I set it with was it 2 different powders, my Coty Spun and my Maybelline loose powder, whatever it's called. So yeah, so those are the 2 things I used, and that's it. So I mean, it's not looking horrible, but it's not looking freshly applied, which is fine. So it's been a long day already and I'm ready to take my face off. So that is as far as it's going to go. It is an everyday concealer for me. It's definitely not full coverage. So if you bought this thinking it was going to be full coverage, it's not. I have other full coverage concealers. I do think it falls in like the medium category rather than the full. It probably could be full if you applied enough, or if you had nothing to cover. I mean, I feel like sometimes when people say something's full and I'm looking at them, I'm like, you have nothing to cover. Why are you even wearing concealer? So yeah, some people just say something is full coverage. They don't have dark circles, they don't have blemishes. Of course it's going to be full, there's nothing to cover. But I do have a bit of like, you know, the indentation in my eyes, which sometimes causes a shadow or might look like under eye darkness in some lights. So that's really what my concern is. And of course I've got like creases in my eyes where that's just how my eyes are. So for me, it didn't quite tick those boxes and it's fine. I mean, I'm not looking for smooth, flawless, like completely cancelled out. It would be nice if it could do that, but it doesn't do that, and I'm not too peed off because it's a £5 concealer, so you know, it's whatever. I did actually buy, I'm not sure if I mentioned, I think I mentioned that I bought the 2.0 white. I'm not going to open that because I'm going to try and return it. If I'm not bothered to return it, because again, it's only £5, I'm probably going to feature it in my next video, but I'll see if I can return it, get my act together and return it, and maybe get my money back, or what's left of my money. I did buy it from Beauty Bay, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned, and Beauty Bay don't do free returns. You have to pay to return stuff, so there isn't going to be much change left. So maybe I will even keep it, I don't know. But anyway, that shade is not worth discussing because it's so far off what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, but anyway, those are my thoughts. If you got anything from that, please do give this video a massive like. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you are thinking about trying this concealer, what you think of the shade range, what you think of the catfishing that they're doing online with the actual shade versus the online shade, and yeah, what do you think of like the whole collection in general? Glad to know your thoughts. Leave them down in the comment section, and all the details to everything I've used will be in the description box, so please do check that out. And what else? Yeah, that's it. So until next time, stay blessed, have a great morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.